We also learn, those of us who didn't yet, that is, that when your enemy tells you it wants you dead, you should take him at his word. Sadly, we can also conclude that Israel stands, for the most part, alone. Even after it's attacked in the most horrific way, most of the world, including many in the West, turns away. The shining exceptions are Trump's USA and the likes of Milei's Argentina or Orban's Hungary.
Welcome to the Holyland Dispatch podcast.
Welcome back to the Holyland Dispatch podcast. I'd like to dedicate this episode to an idea I gleaned from another podcast I listened to. Full credit to the subject and great parts of the content go to Ori Melamed's podcast. We start in 1929, which was and remains a tragic year in the history of Jews in Israel. Fueled by the incitement of their leaders, chief among them Haj Amin al-Husseini, thousands of Arabs attacked multiple Jewish settlements throughout the territories of the then British Mandate. In the aftermath, 133 Jews were murdered, 339 were injured, and multiple settlements were burned down to the ground. Today, we will focus on one such place, a place called Be'er Tuvia, also known in these days as Castina. Wikipedia states the following. Having been settled since 1888, by the time of the attack, there had been a Jewish settlement there for about 40 years, a house to roughly 15 farmers and their families. It was also the southernmost Jewish settlement in Israel at the time. According to the people of Be'er Tuvia, the attack of the settlement was not sudden. Sometime before the attack, there was a change in the atmosphere. Cars, which were rarer in those days, were driving around the settlement day and night full of Arabs. This aroused concerns among the people of the settlement. The resident contacted the British Mandate authorities, but even hours before the attack, they were told that there was no reason to fear. After many requests, which were initially refused, the authorities sent 3 Arab policemen. That too was only on Saturday, August 24th. On August 23, 1929, a day before the embarrassing reinforcement was sent, hundreds of Arab rioters attacked the settlement. Some of them Arabs from Majdal, today's Ashkelon. Some of the attacking Arabs worked there. The 130 residents barricaded themselves in a stone barn building. The settlement had a government-sealed box that initially contained 36 rifles, but these were gradually depleted, and by the time of the riots, only 5 rifles remained. The Arab policemen did not give permission to the Jewish farmers to use the rifles. During the riots, the Arab policemen hid, and 5 young Jews decided to use the rifles to protect the besieged settlement members. In this way, they defended themselves for 3 days. On August 26th, an attack was made on Be'er Tuvia. That morning, the Lod District Police Commander's operational diary recorded, "Be'er Tuvia is being attacked by 2,000 Arabs. The Jews are concentrated in one house and the settlement is burning. 7-ton trucks are needed to transport the people to Rehovot." During the attack, Dr. Chaim Israeli was murdered. He had gone out to help an injured Arab. A member of the settlement, Binyamin Tzvi Rosen, Herschel Rosin, who had barricaded himself in the synagogue because he thought he would not be harmed there, was also murdered. The rioters wrapped his body in Torah scrolls that they had taken from the synagogue and burned him on the settlement street. The looters desecrated the synagogue and tore up the Torah scrolls that were in it. On the 3rd day, the British authorities sent a reconnaissance plane that scattered the rioters in all directions, but they managed to burn all the barracks of the settlement to the ground. It is said that the flames could be seen in Rehovot, some 20 kilometers away. The British then sent 3 trucks on which they loaded all the people in place without even allowing them to bury the dead, and evacuated them to Rehovot. Only after 10 days did some of the people of the settlement come to the place and buried the victims, but its complete destruction prevented its people from returning to the place. Some of them scattered throughout the country, some of them left the country altogether. In September 1929, the trial of 30 farmers from the nearby Arab village of Beit Deras was held, after items that had been looted from Be'er Tuvia were found in their house. They received a sentence of 6 months in prison, and one of them, who had a gun in his possession, was sentenced to 1 year in prison. A collective monetary penalty was also imposed on residents of 13 nearby Arab villages who participated in the riots. Well, this was a smaller but representing event of the overall attack that took place also in Jerusalem, Hebron, and places in the Galilee, as well as along the Mediterranean shores. Mind you, this is 1929, no official Jewish state, no 1948 or 1967 borders, no so-called occupation, nada. Let's fast forward to 2023 and see what had changed. October 7th, thousands of Arabs from the Gaza Strip, ironically or not, just south of what was once Majdal, attacked civilian settlements, murdering, maiming, raping, pillaging, burning houses down to the ground. Can we find some similarities between the two occasions separated by almost 100 years? In both occasions, a few people raised concerns about an impending attack. In both cases, the authorities severely misjudged the threat. The weapons cache in Be'er Tuvia that once held what might have been sufficient amount of guns somehow dwindled to just 5. In an unforgivable move by the then Minister of Defense Benny Gantz, weapons were taken from settlements in both Judea and Samaria, as well as from the ones surrounding the Gaza Strip. That is 2023. When things did go sideways, in both cases insufficient forces were initially deployed. Arabs who worked in Be'er Tuvia participated in the 1929 attack. Arabs who worked in the southern settlements that were attacked on October 7th not only participated in the attack itself, but served as intelligence for the entire attacking forces. They mapped out the residences, highlighted weaknesses and strengths, and enabled a more efficient massacre. The obvious thing in common was, of course, thousands of armed attackers going specifically after civilian settlements. In both attacks, Jews found themselves hiding in a secure room in their own house, in their own country. The same goes for Jews hiding in synagogues. Sadly, but not surprisingly, Jews not finding refuge even in their houses of prayers where they were caught, tortured, and murdered. Synagogues and Torah scrolls burning in Israel. And the least surprising but most infuriating, the attackers receiving kindness and sympathy, while the Jews were and still are vilified. I think the most obvious point is, this is not a matter of real estate. In 1929 there was no Israel, no so-called occupation, no Nakba. In October 2023, the places that were attacked were not in the disputed, at least in some people's eyes, settlements in Judea and Samaria, but part of Israel proper, as recognized by the UN. We can also conclude that there is nothing Jews can do other than collectively die or run away to appease the Arabs who call themselves Palestinians. No two states delusion, no one big happy state. We can conclude that for over 100 years since the attack on Be'er Tuvia, there was absolutely no change in the Arabs' attitude towards the idea of Israel. During that time, pretty much every Israeli prime minister has stated and a series of them demonstrated in action that Israel was willing to make concessions in order to live in peace side by side with our neighbors. We also learn, those of us who didn't yet, that is, that when your enemy tells you it wants you dead, you should take him at his word. Sadly, we can also conclude that Israel stands, for the most part, alone. Even after it's attacked in the most horrific way, most of the world, including many in the West, turns away. The shining exceptions are Trump's USA and the likes of Milei's Argentina or Orban's Hungary. I think these case studies should be eye-opening for anyone with a healthy intellect. Anyone professing to be a progressive. After all, the place of progress, yes, that's Israel, was the recipient of the massacre handed by the oppressors of women, LGBT, and human rights in general. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope this helped in any way. Until next time, God bless, and see you again on the Holyland Dispatch podcast.
Bye.